What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Day Moolah Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. On today's episode, I will be doing things a little bit differently because y'all know how I normally come on here and I give y'all my picks for the top 25 college football games that week. But because some of the games that are, because some of the teams that are ranked inside the top 25 are playing weak opponents, i.e., Tennessee's playing UConn and Tulane is playing East Carolina. I saw, you know what? There's some other good games that they might not be featuring ranked teams, but there's still gonna be some pretty good games out there. So I will still be giving y'all my top 25 picks, but it won't just be only top 25 games. I will also be going through, like I said, other games that should be some pretty good games to watch. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So first matchup, it is a ranked matchup. We got number 7 Texas taking on number 23 Kansas State. And wow, Kansas State, man. I mean, talk about a way to revive your season. Obviously, Kansas State, they had that early season loss against Missouri, and then they had that really embarrassing loss against Oklahoma State, even though Oklahoma State's looking pretty good right now. But you talk about the last 2 weeks, man, they've outscored their opponents, 82-3, y'all. They have outscored their opponents 82-3. Think about that. They have only allowed 3 points in the last 2 games, y'all. That's 1.5 point per game. That is absolutely ridiculous. Kansas State, man, is getting their swagger back. We know Will Howard at quarterback. They can really run the football. I love Kansas State on the defensive side of football. And you're looking at Texas. Obviously, Texas last week had an easy game against BYU, blew out BYU 35-6, but they're still without their starter quarterback, Quinn Ewers. Freshman quarterback Malik Murphy's going to get his second start. But the difference is, man, Kansas State obviously has a way better team. They have a way better defense than BYU did. They are going to present a tougher challenge for this freshman quarterback. And Kansas State is just rolling right now, y'all. I'm picking the Kansas State Wildcats to go into Texas and upset the Texas Longhorns. Like I said, man, Kansas State right now, I mean, my gosh, only allowing 3 points in the last 2 games is absolutely insane. And I just feel like Kansas State going against that freshman quarterback, their defense is going to be able to really confuse him. Give me the Kansas State Wildcats to win that game. So next up, Notre Dame versus Clemson. And man, y'all saw, or excuse me, for those y'all that didn't see, Dabo Swinney went on a rant the other day when he had a caller call in telling him that, you know, we're not paying you all this money just to be a 500 team. And Dabo Swinney got mad and said, I'm not going to let you talk to me like a little child. And let me say this, listen, yes, Dabo Swinney, you've had a lot of success at Clemson. You won 2 national championship games. You had multiple, I think, 12, 10-win seasons. But at the end of the day, man, let's just call it spade a spade. Right now, your program is in a really bad shape. And the reason y'all are in a bad shape is because you refuse to use the transfer portal. And you see all these other teams, y'all, are taking advantage of the transfer portal. Alabama, USC, Notre Dame, right? Louisville, look at Louisville, what they're doing in the ACC this year. All these other teams are taking advantage of the transfer portal, but Dabo Swinney refused to do so. So because of Dabo Swinney, yes, Clemson, y'all falling behind. So that's not to take away anything, Dabo Swinney, that you've done in all your years of being the Clemson head coach. We're talking about right now. We're not talking about last year. We're not talking about 3, 4, 5 years ago. We're talking about right now. Your program is not that good. And I look at Notre Dame, man, I feel like they're rolling right now. Obviously, you know, Notre Dame had that they had that tough stretch where they had to play against Duke, they had to play against Ohio State, and then they had to play against Louisville, and then they had to also play against USC. But now the rest of the schedule looks pretty easy. I think Notre Dame has too much defense. Clemson has too little offense. I don't see how Clemson's going to be able to score more probably than 16, 17 points against Notre Dame's defense. So give me Notre Dame to win this game. I think it will be a close game because for whatever reason, it seems like Notre Dame and Clemson play pretty close. But give me Notre Dame to win this game. Clemson, man, will not be able to score enough points. So next up, y'all, we got number 1 Ohio State taking on Rutgers. And man, let me just shout out Rutgers and Greg Schiano. I mean, Rutgers 6-2. Wow, they already bowl eligible. Shout out Greg Schiano. This is excuse me, y'all, my nose is itching. But this is the first time that Rutgers has been bowl eligible for a long time. So give them credit. Already being 6-2, but man, this is a different monster coming in here. You got Ohio State. Oh my gosh, man. Woo, that Marvin Harrison Jr., like I've said so many times on this channel, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think is the second best player in the nation behind Caleb Williams. I think he's definitively the best receiver in the nation. I mean, this dude is just so freaking dynamic. He is very hard to contain, man, because not only is he tall, y'all, but Marvin Harrison also is an amazing route runner, kind of like his dad. He's just a phenomenal route runner. He knows how to use his size to his advantage. And I just love him at the point of attack, man. He goes up and just snatches the ball out of the air. I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be a tough challenge, man. Emeka Egbuka, I think he's probably the second best receiver in the country. If you have to ask me, so I really like the duo they got, man. And then their young quarterback, he's finally, man, starting to kind of click a little bit. Kyle McCord, because he struggled to begin the season. Last year, I know he struggled against Wisconsin, but he finally seems like he's in his groove. So yeah, Ohio State, man, they're number one for a reason, right? I don't like I said on Tuesday, reacted to the rankings. I don't think Ohio State's the best team in the country, but they had the best resume, and they go get it done. Next up, we got Texas A&M taking on Ole Miss, and obviously Texas A&M, another disappointing season for them, man. I don't know when Jimbo Fisher is finally gonna get Texas A&M to be a national powerhouse, because you look at all the money that they're paying him, and for them to be 5-3, they just keep having these seasons where they win like 8 games or 9 games. Like that ain't good enough, man. That is just not good enough. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Jimbo Fisher, but that's just not good enough. They brought Jimbo Fisher in here to compete with Alabama and the SEC, and to compete with Georgia and compete with Ole Miss, and they just have not done so yet. I really like Ole Miss, man. Obviously, Jackson Dart at quarterback, Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins is one of the best running backs in the country. This will be a close game, y'all. Again, this will still be a close game. Sometimes Ole Miss, I'm not gonna lie, Ole Miss will kind of play down when they're supposed to play up. And I think, obviously, everyone agree Ole Miss is definitely the better team, but I think this game will be closer than what some people might think. But at the end of the day, I think Ole Miss just has a little too much. When you got Jackson Dart, the quarterback, and then Quinshon Judkins, a running back, man, that's a lot to handle. So give me Ole Miss to win that game. So next up, y'all. Next up. Y'all see, look at that. Tennessee versus UConn. Who wants to pick that game? Utah versus Arizona State. Who wants to pick that game? So let's see. As y'all see, man, there's some bad games on the schedule. Look, Florida State playing Pittsburgh. Who do we want to pick next? Okay, James Madison versus Georgia State. Man, this is a huge game, y'all. Sun Belt conference. For those y'all that don't really get into, maybe some of these like group of 5 teams, y'all need to get into it, man, because James Madison, it's unfortunate because of the NCAA rule that they still cannot compete. They're not bowl eligible because they should be, and they can't even be ranked in the college football ranking because of that stupid NCAA rule, because they were Division II, and now they're in Division I football, and it's like a 2-year rule where you cannot compete for any bowl games or any postseason games or anything of that nature because of that rule that they have. It's so stupid. But big game, man, in the Sun Belt, you're looking at James Madison. I was coming in 8-0, Georgia State coming in at 6-2. Pretty much winner of this game will go to the Sun Belt Conference championship game, So, man, y'all, James Madison just been rolling, bro. I love their quarterback. I love their wide receiver group. They are very deep at wide receiver. Give me James Madison to win this game. I might watch this game. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be a really good game to watch. So for all my college football fans that maybe not get into some group of 5 teams, y'all need to get into it, man. James Madison versus Georgia State. That's gonna be a great game. But give me James Madison to win and stay undefeated and move to 9-0. Y'all see, man, some of this schedule is bad. Here we go. Now we're getting to some of the good games. Missouri taking on Georgia. You look at Missouri coming this game ranked 12th. Georgia's obviously ranked 2nd in the country. And y'all, Missouri, man, love their quarterback, Brady Cook. But I worry about Missouri's defense. I really do. And I know Georgia is playing without Brock Bowers, but I worry about Missouri's defense. That crowd's going to be rocking. But I do think they cover. I don't think Georgia beats them by 15. I don't. Y'all see the line, Georgia minus 15. I don't think that Georgia is gonna cover that. I think Missouri covers. I think they keep these games surprisingly close. Why? Because of their quarterback Brady Cook, and their receiver core is so deep, man. I mean, their receiver core is so deep with Missouri. I think Georgia struggles. Kind of like how Georgia, y'all remember early in the season, they played South Carolina home. They struggled. Missouri is definitely better than South Carolina, right? They kind of struggle with them at first. So I think you'll see some of that. But I just think Georgia is a little too physical for Missouri. Georgia's a little too deep, at that defensive line position. I think Georgia's gonna prevail. But like I said, y'all, they're not gonna come. Georgia's not win this game by 15 points. I can guarantee you that. Next up, we got the Bedlam series. This might be the final Bedlam game that we're gonna get for a while. Obviously, with Oklahoma moving to the SEC next year. But speaking of Oklahoma, devastating loss last week against Kansas, man, upset. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, man, that might have that loss might have prevented Oklahoma from going to the college football playoff because, man, Oklahoma State, y'all, I don't know what it is, but Oklahoma State all of a sudden has found new life. I mean, you're talking about this is the Oklahoma State team that early in the season, man, they lost to freaking South Alabama. They lost to Iowa State. And we were like, what's going on with Oklahoma State? Now, all of a sudden, y'all, they are right there in the thick of it when it comes to the Big 12 championship game. They are currently 4-1 in the Big 12. They're at home, man. Y'all know Stillwater is a tough place to play. We saw a couple years ago what happened to Oklahoma when they were in Stillwater, man. They got defeated 37-33, I believe the score was. That was Lincoln Riley's last game. But who am I going to pick? I look at Oklahoma coming off that tough game. Can they rebound? I don't think they can, man. Give me Oklahoma State Cowboys in the upset. I like Mike Gundy, man. Like I said, Oklahoma State, y'all, they're just playing with new life. I'm not sure what got into them. I don't know what Mike Gundy might have said to them. But it's like this team is so different where they were at the beginning of the season. I think Oklahoma State has a real shot to win the Big 12 championship. I really do. I love the way they're playing football. So give me the Oklahoma State Cowboys to win that game. Going to be a great game to watch. Next up, we got Penn State taking on Maryland. Number 11, Penn State taking on Maryland. And Maryland, I mean, wow, Maryland started out 5-0, y'all, and now they're 5-3. Mike Locksley, excuse me. I like Mike Locksley a lot, but we just got called a spade, y'all. And Maryland, this is really bad. 3 straight losses. We get losing to Ohio State, right? We know Ohio State. We know the juggernaut they are. We get it. We there's no shame in losing to Ohio State, right? Let me just say that Maryland losing to Ohio State is no shame, even though it was kind of bad though in the fashion they lost, considering that they were only down by 3 heading to the fourth quarter, and then they lost by 20 that game. So the fashion that they lost was kind of bad. But you're looking at Maryland, though, it's like, my gosh, man, you lose to freaking Northwestern and Illinois, and particularly you lose to Illinois at home. So yeah, you looking at Penn State, man. Penn State, y'all, like I said, Penn State, I think I said this maybe a couple weeks ago. Penn State's a good team, but they will never be able to beat the elite teams. They will never be able to beat Michigan and Ohio State, or if they were to play like a Bama, or they were to play an Oregon, right? They are Florida State or Washington. Penn State is they're only just a solid team. They're a really good team, but are they a really great team? No. Will they ever be a great team? Absolutely not. But I do think they will get this win. Like I said, Maryland, man, I mean, oh, man. If Maryland, I'm not going to lie, had Maryland beat Illinois at home, I probably would pick Maryland to win this game. Just like, bro, you couldn't even beat Illinois at home. There's no way. Give me Penn State to win this game. But, again, does this mean Penn State's a great team? No. No, this doesn't. But they will win this game. Next up, y'all, we got a big ACC game. Right? This is a huge ACC game. As Virginia Tech is 3-1 in the ACC, and so is Louisville. A huge game, man. Shout out Jeff Brom coming back home, hometown hero. He's from Louisville, man. He came back home. Now Louisville 7-1. He has them as one of the front runners in that conference. It's them and Virginia Tech and obviously Florida State that's on track to make the ACC championship game. I love what Louisville does, man. They are one of the best teams, y'all, at home. I mean, Louisville has been so dominant at home. That crowd, man, their defense, the way they can run the ball. I love the way Louisville runs the ball. They have a good balance with their quarterback. Also, he can throw the football pretty darn well. So I just look at it and I'm like, listen, Virginia Tech, I'm surprised they're 3-1 the ACC, but this is a different monster y'all going up against, man. Louisville is legit. I think Louisville is a playoff contender. I like the rest of Louisville's schedule is pretty easy. So, and I'm not saying this will be an easy game because Virginia Tech is not going to come in here and lay down, right? Virginia Tech, they are playing for an ACC championship title, so they're not going to come in here and just lay down. But I think Louisville at home too much. That run game, that defense, man, give me the Louisville Cardinals to win that game. Like I said, I think Louisville is a playoff contender for real. And, yeah, I just think they're going to win that game. Y'all look at some of these other games, man. Look, we got Oregon playing California. I mean, yeah, y'all see why I did not want to pick just top 25 games, because some of these top 25 games are good. But here goes a game that should be solid. We got BYU taking on West Virginia. Obviously, BYU last week got blown out to Texas. No, no one was that surprised by that. BYU, this is not the BYU team of like 2020, right? When they had Zach Wilson throwing that ball around. They don't have that. But they do play against West Virginia, man. Sorry, y'all. My nose still isn't. They do play against West Virginia in Morgantown. And West Virginia, 5-3. Hey, surprise. I didn't have Virginia. Excuse me, I didn't have West Virginia being this solid right now. I thought they would probably be like 2-6, but they're 5-3. So they have a chance to become bowl eligible. I think they do that. They're playing at home. This is big, y'all. West Virginia absolutely needs to win this game. Like, they need to win this game, right? They need to win this game. Seriously, this is a must-win game for West Virginia. Obviously, head coach Neil Brown, he needs his win, man. We thought Neil Brown was gonna get fired after the end of last season. He didn't. West Virginia decided to bring him back, but he needs to win this game. Seriously, he needs to get this done. I think they do it, and West Virginia becomes bowl eligible. Next up, we have Kansas taking on Iowa State. And like I touched on earlier with Oklahoma, man, shout out to Kansas, bro. Lance Leipold. I mean, y'all, the way he's turned around that program, you talking about Kansas was a laughing stock, literally the laughing stock in college football. And now they are a really solid football team, man. They discipline, they play hard, they don't commit a lot of penalties, they don't commit a lot of turnovers. This is a team, man, that is just very, very fundamentally sound. And that's all thanks to their head coach. Like I said, Lance Leipold, man. I mean, the energy that he's brought to that program, and I think it goes beyond just the program, man. The energy that he's brought to the state, like literally that state now, that city has a team to be proud of. Once again, it had been years since Kansas had been even a solid team, and now they are a really good team, man. You look at Iowa State, surprise. Iowa State's 4-1 in the Big 12. What? And this is an Iowa State team, y'all, that lost to Ohio. Let me remind y'all that this is the same this is the same Iowa State team that lost to Ohio. But now Iowa State, all of a sudden, they can score some points. Wow, because we know Iowa State's on for defense, running the football, but now they can score a little bit. They finally finding some mojo offensively, but I think Kansas, man, with their quarterback, I like Quentin Skinner at wide receiver, but Jason Bean, I think Jason Bean is the best backup quarterback in college football. Man, that little dude can really throw that football around the field. I like what Kansas has going on, man. To me, Kansas is also, like I said, Oklahoma State. I think Kansas is also a contender to go to the Big 12 championship game. So I had to take Kansas to win this game, man. I'm a believer. I like what Lance Leipold has done to turn around that program, to turn around that city and state. So give me the Kansas Jayhawks to win that game. Let's see here. Any other games? Oh, yes. Here we go. Yes, sir. These night games, y'all. Number 5, Washington taking on number 20 USC. As y'all hear my darn ESPN app going off right there. But so you look at Washington the last 2 weeks, man. I don't know what happened to Washington now. I'm getting a little concerned because y'all barely beat Arizona State 15-9. Then last week, y'all went down to basically to the last seconds to beat Stanford. So I'm kind of concerned what's going on, Washington. I think Washington is still kind of riding high off that win against Oregon, but this will be a tough game. And I know USC last week, man, oh my God, beat Cal by 1 point, gave up 49 points to freaking California. Their offense is so bad, y'all. So bad. So that USC's defense is so bad. So I have no confidence in USC's defense. Give me the Washington Huskies. As y'all hear my phone, man, somebody calling me. Used to call me on my cell phone, but now for real, give me the Washington Huskies to win this game. Because USC's defense is just that bad. This will be a high-scoring game, though. A high-scoring game. I will be watching this game, y'all. I will be watching. I think y'all should watch the game as well. But give me the Washington Huskies to win this game. As y'all see, man, somebody still calling my darn phone. Brother, we got the LSU Tigers taking on the Crimson Tide. We're going to keep going, though. LSU taking on the Crimson Tide, man. Alabama, Jalen Milroe seems like he found his mojo. He's found his groove, man. He's being very confident right now. LSU has a really bad defense, but obviously on the other side, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, love that quarterback wide receiver duo. But I just think LSU's defense, man, LSU's defense is disappointed all year long. We saw what they did against Missouri. We saw what they did against Ole Miss. I think it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be a close game, but I think in the fourth quarter, Alabama pulls away. So give me the Alabama Crimson Tide to win that game. Y'all know I don't like Alabama like that, but I got to call spade a spade. Alabama win that game. Next up, y'all, we got Miami taking on NC State. This will be a little quick pick. I know I'm still disappointed Miami lost that game the way they did against Georgia Tech. But Miami's just a better football team than NC State. They got too much offense. I think Tyler Van Dyke, he has a great game. Give me Miami to win that game. And let's see, is there any other games I should talk about? So we got the last two, Pac-12 after dark. Oregon State taking on Colorado. Obviously, Colorado, man, lost against UCLA. They had their jewelry stolen. Unfortunately, they had their jewelry stolen. And look at Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei. Obviously, last week Oregon State lost to Arizona. Y'all know I love me some Shedeur. I love me Coach Prime, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr. Oh man, I think that crowd's gonna be rocking, y'all. I think the crowd's gonna be rocking. Last week I picked Colorado to lose, but you know what? I think Oregon State's reeling a little bit. I think Oregon State's reeling. They had that disappointing loss against UCLA that kind of hurt their Pac-12 chances. Give me Colorado. I like Colorado to upset, man. I think Shedeur has a great game. And, yeah, give me Colorado at home for the upset. And last, but certainly not least, man, UCLA versus Arizona, y'all. Shout out Arizona. Wow, Arizona, boy. I mean, you talking about upset win against Washington State, upset win against Oregon State. I think they do it again, man. I'm a believer now in Arizona. I really am. I wasn't a believer of them 3 weeks ago, but when I saw the way they beat Washington State, I saw last week them getting an upset win against Oregon State. I believe in Arizona. I think they upset UCLA, man. I was a UCLA, their freshman quarterback, but I think they upset UCLA. Arizona moves to 6-3, and man, if Arizona wins this game, heck, they're gonna be a major player in that Pac-12 race. So give me the Arizona Wildcats to win that game. That was another episode of the Zay Moolah Sports Podcast. Make sure, man, if y'all agree, y'all disagree with my picks, hey, say Zay, I agree. Say Zay, I disagree, man. I want to hear from y'all, man. Talk back to me. But y'all know I'm gonna end it. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.